Good evening, and welcome to the first ever college week of Shhh Productions Vintage Radio Hour. Our collaboration, now grown to over 100 fantastic performers and technicians from across the country, Canada, and the UK, revisits the legacy of audio entertainment that harkens back to the golden days of radio to bring you the students of Wolf Sherrill, a founding troupe member, and James Madison University Associate Professor, in a collection of 3 shows filled with suspense, fear, and maybe a little murder. The upcoming show, Beezer's Cellar, originally airing in 1948, features Bridget Gooley, Ben Murphy, Brandon Settle, and Makenna Stergion in a frantic tale of desperate cooks, $82,000, and a wacky old guy. Stay tuned after the show for the second part of our triple header, The Dead Laugh, starting at 9:15 Eastern Standard Time. Now, shh.
I looked at Marlene. Marlene looked at me when we heard this old guy talking about Beezer's Cellar. "Get a load of this, Marlene," I said, and she picked up a French fry and ate it very quiet. I'll be listening to the old guy. He was sounding off to another old guy, and the other old guy couldn't get a word in edgeways.
So this here Beezer, they always called him Six-Fingered Beezer. See, on account he only had 6 fingers on each hand. He never did build a house. He got the cellar dug and up and hung himself in it. Well, I don't know why rightly, but there was some talk about the cellar being dug into a cursed ground. Well, I want to tell you, there's been mighty odd doings up there. By George, up at Beezer's Cellar. What? Well, fires and lights at night. And don't tell me foxfire. I seen foxfire. I know foxfire. This ain't foxfire. 60-odd years ago. And moans and hooting and hollering all over the place at night. And trees are waving their branches when they ain't no wind. No, sir, that's a real deserted place. You couldn't get me up there with a 10-foot pole. That there place is haunted, sonny, and I want another root beer. No, sir. Ghosts and spirits and crawling things and they're hooting and hollering. That ain't my line at all.
You getting that, Marlene?
Gosh, no, I ain't been up there since I was a kid in short pants. A clique of us went up there one afternoon in the fall. We thought we'd see a skeleton lying down there on the floor of the cellar. And we cut and run. Never stopped till we got to the C&A tracks. Yes, sir, sonny. Thank you for the root beer. That there's a place to shun, and by golly, people shun it. Well, it's right out past the cemetery where you turn off Stickford Road. But it ain't quite a lot to find about 3 miles east. There's a big elm tree that was struck by lightning, but I wouldn't be caught dead there for all the treasure in the universe.
Come on, Marlene, I said. We sort of drifted out of the place. There was a car parked under a big tree by the side of the road. Pete was sitting there with a P-38 pistol he brought back from the war, with his feet on the suitcase with $82,000. We stopped to count it on the side street in Wilmington on the way down from Chicago. We watched the state cops go on past us down 66. Then we switched the license plates and jogged on after him. Pete wasn't taking any chances. He had that snoot of the P-38 in our faces the minute we walked up.
You all ought to make some kind of noise or something. Might have let you have it.
Put the gun away for a minute. Move over. Get in, Marlene.
You bring me a sandwich?
Barbecue pork all right?
Yeah, I could eat it raw. What's cooking?
Stanley's got an idea.
What now?
You scared of ghosts, Pete?
I ain't scared of anything.
Well, that's good.
What's this about ghosts?
We might run into a couple of them where we're going.
An old man with 6 fingers on each hand.
Who? A cop?
He hanged himself 60 years ago.
What is all this double talk?
Quit hollering and eat your sandwich.
Listen, what are you figuring on?
I found a place to leave the bag with the money for a while. While things cool off.
Leave the bag?
What do you think I was gonna do?
In that cellar?
What cellar?
Stanley, are you crazy?
Listen, how'd you all like to let me in on this, huh?
Listen, this is a haunted cellar, see?
Pete!
The old man says nobody ever goes there. They're scared to go there.
So am I.
How can it, Marlene? There ain't anything to be scared of.
Only ghosts.
Well, We could always go riding around the countryside if you want, asking some hick cop to take us. That's always the way with you amateurs.
I'm no amateur. I shot the guys, didn't I?
Who told you to shoot? Who told you which ones to shoot?
Well, what are you beefing about? I didn't say anything.
Well, I wish I'd never got into this.
For a nice chunk of $82,000, you wish that?
Well, do we have to do it this way, Stanley?
You think of a better way?
Where is this place?
A few miles from here.
Well, what are we waiting for?
That's my boy.
Oh, we won't have to stay long then, will we, Stanley?
Why, listen, baby, you think I'd go there at all if I didn't have a hot suitcase to take care of?
We'll leave right away.
I will. Heh.
We all will, whether old Six Finger shows up to scare us or not.
Don't, Stanley.
Which way, Stan?
Well, the old fella said something about a road,
Strickfaden Road.
Well, don't look now, but the reason I was asking is there's a motorcycle coming down the road back there.
Where?
And I was just kind of interested in our next move. Not that I don't have any good ideas of my own.
Now put that gun away.
I was only going to ask him a question.
But Pete didn't have to ask him a question. Marlene stepped out of the car and she walked right up to the man in the blue suit and she said, "How do I get to Strickfaden Road, officer?" And the officer told her just as polite as a head waiter. He'd been awful surprised if he'd known was pointing at him while he was being so nice to the cute little redhead. Well, what he don't know won't hurt him, I always say. And we relaxed. Well, so we found the road all right. We drove along slow, little old Model A Ford with an Indiana license plates. And we were pretty quiet. I don't know what Pete was thinking about, or Marlene, but I know what I was thinking about. Trees hanging low over the road. Trees that moved their branches when there wasn't any wind. And lights in the night that wasn't foxfire. Whatever foxfire is. And pretty soon there was a great big old elm tree alongside the road and it looked as if it had been struck by lightning. So we stopped. And there wasn't any trees waving their branches or any funny noises, but we found Beezer's cellar. I wish we hadn't. There was the elm tree that was struck by lightning. There was a fence that we busted down. There was a kind of path, or it had been a path once. It was all I could do in the dark to bust my way through the underbrush with a flashlight. And Marlene and Pete waiting in the car, ready to go into a smooching act if an inquisitive cop pulled up. Smooching, with a Haney pistol aimed under his arm over the side of the car. It was a lot easier getting the $82,000 than it was crawling through the bushes looking for Beezer's cellar. I pretty near fell into it. It didn't smell very good, and there was water spots in the bottom. It looked haunted enough. Kind of felt my hair coming up, but I said, well, it's better than one of those little iron rooms they got down at Stateville. And I went back after Pete and Marlene. We run the car off the road hoping nobody'd see it. We lugged the suitcase back through the underbrush and I jumped down. And Pete and Marlene climbed down after me. Good deal, huh?
Looks haunted, all right.
I don't like this, Stanley.
Well, let's stash the bag and get out of here.
How you gonna do it?
Well, dig a hole, jerk, and bury it.
What with?
Well, didn't you... Oh,
Oh, wait a minute, Stanley. I see something over there against the wall.
Flash the light.
I thought I saw it when I climbed down.
Huh. A shovel.
Ain't that convenient.
Maybe the ghosts left it here.
Cut that out.
Scare you, kid.
I'll cut it out.
Yeah, thanks, Marlene. Hold the light, Pete. No, turn it out. Quick, there's a car coming. Okay.
Have to make so much noise?
You want to dig? I'll hold the light.
Wait.
What's the matter?
Shut up. Thought I heard somebody.
Go on, dig.
Pick up the bricks.
Okay.
Let me hold the light and you both can dig. We'll get out of here quicker.
Okay. Go!
Don't do that, Stanley!
Nobody gonna hurt you, kid.
No, but
Here, come back with that light.
Come on, let's stop kidding around.
I'm going to sit down.
You'll get all wet.
No, there's an old busted chair here.
Oh, for the love of
All right. There.
Yeah, now let's go in out there and get... Now what's the matter?
Stanley, you didn't sit in this chair, did you?
You kidding?
Pete?
What's the matter?
Somebody's been sitting in it. The seat's still warm.
And she dropped the flashlight. And it rolled down into the hole we've been digging. The light went bouncing down and down and down and down hundreds of feet. We could watch it twisting and turning and lighten up the sides of a deep, smooth shaft that seemed to have no bottom at all. There we were, dark down in Beezer's cellar, the darkness pushing down on us. There was a sound somewhere, way far off, that seemed to come up to us from the bottomless pit we had opened. And I swore. I lit a match. Pete and Marlene were leaning over the edge of the hole. Marlene jumped back and she started screaming. I didn't stop till I slapped her in the face a couple of times. I said, "Cut it out. You want all the cops in the state to come a-running?" Grabbed me by the arm and she was yammering like a baby.
I saw it. It was looking right at me. I saw its eyes.
Passed out cold. Only the quick grab that Pete made kept her from falling right down into the hole. Pete and I slapped some of that dirty water in her face, and pretty soon she sat up. She started to cry. And it started to rain. "Look," Pete said.
Look, I don't go for this, Stanley.
"Scared of ghosts?"
Oh, nuts. There's no ghosts. I think we could find a better place to bury our dough than Mr. Beezer's cellar.
Let's get out of here. Please, let's get out of here.
Cut it out, Marlene.
No. Let's get out of here. I tell you, I saw.
You saw a reflection of the match down this old well.
Well, sure, that's what it is. That's a well. Some of these old houses had wells right in the center. I remember it from when I was a kid, and we busted into the well.
I saw eyes looking at me.
Cut it out. You didn't either.
We'd been in a swell fix if we dropped the suitcase down the well.
Yeah, I'll say we would. Let's dig another hole. Shut up, Marlene.
Let's get out of this. I'm getting soaked.
Yes, let's get out of here, Stanley.
Go on, you two, if you wanna. I'm gonna get this suitcase planted.
Come on, Pete.
Yeah. Hurry up, Stanley.
I'll hurry.
Wish you hadn't dropped that light.
Oh, Pete, I'm scared.
All right, cut it out.
Hurry.
Don't make so much noise.
All right, I'll boost you up first.
I can't get up here, Pete. This isn't the place.
Well, wait, I'll light a match. Oh, we're on the other side, I guess.
What's the matter?
I can't find the place where we climbed down.
Oh, over this way. No.
This side.
No, that way. Pete,
Yeah?
what's the matter?
Wait. Say you know something, Stanley.
Know what?
Something's happened.
What are you whispering about?
Listen, Stanley, I've been around the walls of this place, and that busted place in the wall where we came down ain't there anymore.
Pete!
What are you talking
I'm telling you, Stanley. Light a match and look for yourself.
And I struck a match. And I shielded it carefully in my hands, and I looked around the walls of Beezer's cellar in the drizzling rain. And you know what? There wasn't any way out of that place that I could see. The walls, all 4 of them, were just smooth as glass. And from way, way down deep in the earth, I could see just a little bitty gleam from that flashlight. And I thought to myself, I see what Marlene meant. It does look like eyes now, don't it? Down at the bottom of a musty old cellar in the middle of a night, in a hole in the floor that goes down, I haven't got any idea far. And rain. And a hysterical woman. And a suitcase with $82,000. And no way to get out of the place. Great, huh? Well, you can explain anything, can't you? The hole in the floor, sure. That was a well. The eyes she thought she saw, sure, there was a flashlight reflecting down on the water there. And the way we couldn't get out? Well, maybe the wall wasn't as busted down as I thought it was when we got into the place. Maybe we didn't notice how smooth the walls was.
Yeah, sure. And how you gonna explain that chair seat being warm and Marlene sat down on it?
Yeah, that's right, Pete.
I didn't want to come here in the first place, and those eyes scared the life out of me.
There's no such thing as ghosts.
You picked a swell time to make a statement like that, boy.
Well, there ain't.
Maybe there is no ghosts, but there are other things.
Like what?
I don't know, like things that come up out of the ground.
Oh, cut it out.
Give me a cigarette, Pete.
We're gonna sit here all night in the rain?
What'll I do? Fly out of here or something? Give me a match.
Wait, I'll spit for you. Here.
Let's get out of here!
Wait till morning. We'll find a way out then.
I wonder if we could reach the top of that wall if we stood on that chair.
Well, I don't know.
You couldn't get me to touch that chair for $1 million. It was warm.
That don't signify nothing.
It does to me.
What about the suitcase?
What?
What'd you do with it?
I'm sitting on it.
Is it warm?
Hot as a pistol.
Oh, cut it out, will ya?
Oh, cut it out.
I'm scared.
Look, babe, I don't like this any too well either.
Then sit close to me, please. I'm cold.
Move over this way.
Well, don't worry, kids. In another couple of months, we'll come back and pick up our little prize package here. We'll be warm for life. All of us.
If we ever get out of here...
Come on.
What was that?
You do that, Pete?
No, what was it?
I don't know.
Stanley?
Oh, wait a minute. Stanley, I think I know what it was.
What?
Wait. Stan?
What?
Come here, careful now.
In the damp darkness, I moved toward the sound of Pete's voice. He stuck my hand and put it on the edge of the hole I dug.
See?
What?
A couple of bricks fell in the hole.
Oh. Marlene, get back from the edge.
What is it?
Move back, honey.
Oh, Stanley.
Light a match, Stanley.
You got him. You light one.
All right, stand back a little.
And in the light from the match before it fizzled out in the rain, I saw what had made the sound. 2 or 3 bricks had got loosened at the edge of the hole I dug and fallen in. And as I looked back, before the match went out, 2 more sagged and fell downward into that bottomless pit. Get back, Marlene, I yelled. Pete lit another match.
Look out!
A crack yawned open with a crash. A half a dozen more bricks tumbled into the hole. Below us, I could see the feeble glow of the flashlight way down there. Seemed to me that things crawled far, far below us into that horrible pit. Pete and I dragged Marlene away to the wall. There was a rumble. The mouth of the pit grew bigger. Seemed that glow from down there was growing stronger, and we sat there, huddled against the slippery walls, frozen cold with terror. Another section of that floor fell in.
The whole floor's going! Come on, we gotta get out!
Marlene sobbing and Pete and I scrambled at the slippery walls. There wasn't a chance. And the rumbling stopped. For a second. We flattened ourselves against the bricks. In the light that came up from down there, I could see Pete's eyes staring and the tears of fright shining on Marlene's cheeks. I said, well, we gotta get out of here.
Oh, Stanley!
Help me up the wall, Stanley!
Ain't no use to try, boys. You can't get out.
And I looked up, and there, sitting comfortably on the edge of the cellar wall, grinning at us in the light that flowed up from the pit in the cellar floor, was the old man Marlene and I had heard at the roadside restaurant. The old man who told us a lurid story about Beezer Cellar.
Ain't no use to try. You're stuck.
Oh, help! Help!
Don't hoot and holler, lady.
Look, old man, give us a hand, will ya?
I heard tell of a fella a long time ago that got down here in this cellar just like you done.
Give us a hand, the floor's going!
I know. The floor fell in with him, too.
Well, help us!
He killed a fella down towards Manito, and he came up here and hid here in the cellar.
Give us a hand out of here.
And the same thing happened to him. Never did find his body. More floor falling in, eh?
Come on, give us a hand up out of here. Help us.
Please, please!
Know what's down there? Fire and destruction.
Listen, old man.
Up, boy! You know you ain't gotta shoot that poor fella in the bank up in Chicago. Murder's bad.
Listen, we got a lot of money down here with us.
I know it. You're criminals.
We'll split it with you.
Don't want no part of that stolen money, bub.
Oh, help us!
Ain't much floor left, is there? They'll never find your bodies.
Now listen, you old...
Hey, now don't call me names, bud!
Pete, put that pistol down.
That won't do you no good, son. Too bad.
Listen, mister, for the... Look, there's a woman down here.
Yeah.
Criminal. Like you two boys.
But... Look out, Marlene!
Oh, Stanley! There isn't any place left to stand!
Here, Marlene.
Kinda figured you was listening to me back at, Soul Weather Stand. Kinda figured you'd come kitting out here to the cellar.
Mister, listen to reason. Please just reach down and give us a hand.
Kinda figured I'd come along and watch and see what happened to you. Mighty interesting.
Oh, ho, if I could get my hands on you.
Well, you can't! Not unless I let you!
You can't do this to us! We are people! We are... Oh, help! Please, mister, I beg you!
No, lady. No use hollering. The wages of sin is death. I always say. You're robbed and you're murdered. So you gotta be punished, see?
You can't sit there and watch us die.
Another hunk of floor's going. You better move off to one side.
I'm gonna get that old...
Put down your pistol, sonny.
I'll get him!
I told you 'tain't no use!
Please, Pete, don't!
Get off of me! Get off of me!
Listen, Sheriff,
I ain't no sheriff. I'm just a fella interested in seeing justice done. I recognized you back there at the restaurant, and I thought to myself, I thought, well, I just told these people here about the Cellar, and it will leave things take their course.
Look out, Marlene!
Oh, help!
Haven't you any pity, man?
Not much. Not much for thieves and murderers.
He's crazy, Stanley. There's an insane asylum across the river there someplace. He's escaped from there.
No, son. I ain't insane. Listen, what would you give to get out of there?
You can have half the money.
Ain't much time for bargaining.
Give it all to him, Stanley!
That's better. You ought to be willing to give all the money to save your lives.
Oh, yes, yes, yes!
If I was in a fix like that, I'd give anything I got.
Well, we won't.
Yes, we will!
Boy, getting hot down there? Mighty interesting. Well,
All right, you can have all the money. Help us out.
Oh, no, you don't, Stanley.
hand it up.
Stanley, how do you know he'll help us? Wait, don't give it to him.
Take it quick.
No!
And Pete leaped at the suitcase I was handing up to the old man. His fingers touched the edge of the bag when another section of the floor gave way right under him. He fell down and down and down and down, twisting and turning into the fire that kept coming higher and higher up the shaft, reaching for us. And the old man took the bag and set it down on the edge of the cellar.
See? That might have been you, fella. Or you, lady.
Help us out of here!
Yeah, it's good riddance. He was the one that shot the fellas at the bank in Chicago. Good riddance, I always say.
Are you going to help us?
Oh, sure. Right in the nick of time. Here, grab a hold of my hand, lady.
I'm afraid.
Up you come, lady. Booster, mister.
Ah!
Oh, there you are. Just right as rain. All right, now you.
And as the strong arms of the little old man lifted me up the lip of the cellar wall, the last section of the floor below us fell away into the fire. And just as if a play or something was over, the flames died down. First they were yellow, then purple, and then they just went out. Marlene grabbed my arm.
Where did he go, Stanley? Where did he go?
Hey, old man! Hey!
Stanley?
Come on, let's get out of here. What's this? What? Marlene!
What?
He didn't take the money. It's right here. And so I picked up the suitcase and Marlene and I hacked our way through all that underbrush back to the road. We were just opening the door to the car to get in, go away from Beezer's cellar when there was sawed-off shotguns in our faces and lights. I could see the state cop's badge behind the light. He laughed and said, "Come on, kids, we're going for a ride." It's very comfortable here in this little iron room at Stateville. And I hear that Marlene's all right, down there at the women's prison in Dwight. She can stay there for 20 years. Me? Well, I'm gonna move. They got a tight little room here for people that get mixed up in murders. Little room you can walk into, but you can't walk out. All modern conveniences. Electricity. And everything. Well, the old fella said this wages of sin is death, and I guess I'd rather be here than in Beezer's cellar. I am pretty grateful to the little old fella. The little old fella with 6 fingers on the hand that pulled me out.
Thank you to our wonderful performers, their professor, Wolf Sherrill, and to you, our audience, for joining us for the launch of our newest branch of Shhh Productions. We hope you enjoyed the show. Stay tuned for the second part of our triple header, The Dead Laugh. You may be able to get away with murder, but 2, 3 more? Listen into that episode coming up at 9:15. And we have another show coming up after that, so stay tuned and shh. Good evening, and welcome to the first ever college week of Shhh Productions Vintage Radio Hour. Our collaboration, now grown to over 100 fantastic performers and technicians from across the country, Canada, and the UK, revisits the legacy of audio entertainment that harkens back to the golden days of radio, to bring you the students of Wolf Sherrill, a founding troupe member and James Madison University associate professor, in a collection of 3 shows filled with suspense, fear, and maybe a little murder. The upcoming show, The Dead Laugh, originally airing in 1946, features Connor Macchi, Josh Polk, Michael Fobian, Allie Lytle, Chris Haley, and Ben Murphy, in a tragic tale about most of the 7 deadly sins. So grab as much popcorn as you can and we'll have them all. Remember to stay tuned afterwards for the final show of our triple header. And now, shh.
I know he's dead. His body's been in the grave for weeks, and yet, although I tell myself it's impossible, I can hear him laugh. That raucous, mocking sound haunts me. Same laugh that I heard the first time in the courtroom. He'd never laughed during all the weeks of trial, never even smiled, but this day, when he came before me for sentencing. John Spencer, you have been found guilty of murder in the 1st degree. Do you wish to make a statement before you are imposed?
I killed Hicks. I'm willing to admit it now. But he was no good, and he got just what he deserved. And everybody knows it. I'm not a killer. I've never committed a crime before. And all I ask now is a chance.
John Spencer, the jury took all that into consideration when it recommended life imprisonment. However, I have the power to ignore that recommendation. It is my firm conviction that to allow one man to take the law into his own hands is to encourage others to do likewise. I therefore override the recommendation of the jury and sentence you to be hung by the neck until dead.
No! Judge, please! I've got a girl. We were going to be married. All I ask is to live so I can see her once in a while.
You should have thought of that before you committed murder.
It's easy for you to tell me what I should have done. But you won't always be on top. Maybe someday you'll be down here where I am. When that happens, I hope they throw the book at you just like you're doing to me.
Bailiff! Remove the prisoner.
Won't I be laughing when that happens? Wherever I am, I'll be laughing fit to bust.
Same old story. Prisoner pleads innocence or guilty with good cause. Asks mercy. When clemency is refused, condemned man curses judge and hopes the judge will someday find himself in a similar plight. Spencer's outburst failed to move me in the slightest. I'd heard it many times before. I went home to forget about the Spencer case.
Richard? Is that you, Richard?
Yes, dear. I'll come in as soon as I've freshened up.
Come right now. I've been waiting here all day. Surely it's not too much to ask.
All right, Laura, I'm coming.
Richard, I want you to meet my new nurse, Margaret Cummings. This is Judge Thornton, Miss Cummings.
How do you do?
Miss Cummings, haven't we met before?
That's hardly likely. It's probably my face. It's so ordinary.
On the contrary, Miss Cummings, I should say your face is rather unusual.
Richard, suppose you stop that silly chatter about faces and talk to Miss Cummings about her duties.
Very well. Come into my study, Miss Cummings. We can talk better there. Sit down, please. There's not much to say, really. In the first place, my wife's heart condition isn't really dangerous.
Yes, I gathered that from Dr. Fletcher.
Oh, he told you about my wife, eh?
Oh, yes.
You're a professional person, nurse, and I believe in frankness. It makes things easier. My wife is 11 years my senior, getting on past middle age. She, is a bit worried. Not that I give her any grounds for it. Jealous. You understand?
Perfectly.
She's not an easy person to get along with. You'll have to humor her.
I'll do my best.
And, Miss Cummings,
Yes?
I was just wondering where it was I saw you before. It escapes me. You know, Miss Cummings, your face is rather haunting. That was how it began. We played a game for those first 2 weeks. I would ask, Miss Cummings, where was it I first saw you?
Don't you remember yet?
No, I don't.
Well, I do. And someday, if you're nice, I'll tell you.
We would laugh together. Having the girl in the house made me feel young again. It didn't last. It ended one evening in Laura's room.
Richard,
Yes, dear.
put down that newspaper. I want to talk to you.
I'm listening.
Don't you think you're going a bit too far, Richard?
Too far? What do you mean?
I mean Miss Cummings.
Oh.
I won't stand for it. I won't allow you to disgrace me in my own home with a woman who's little more than a servant.
Oh, Laura, for heaven's sake.
I may be a bedridden invalid, but there is a limit.
You're jumping to ridiculous conclusions, Laura.
Ridiculous, am I? I suppose you'll deny you're in love with Miss Cummings? That you've been carrying on with her right under my nose?
Certainly I'll deny it.
I've got eyes, Richard. I've seen you two whispering together. I've watched how you look at her.
Oh, you're talking utter nonsense. There's nothing between me and Miss Cummings.
Nothing.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Well then, I'll give you a chance to prove what you say. I don't want Miss Cummings here. Dismiss her.
You want me to dismiss her?
Yes, Richard. I do.
Miss Cummings, well, this is going to be rather unpleasant. You see, my wife, she
I know. He wants me to leave.
Yes. How did you know?
I couldn't help overhearing the conversation.
Well, then you also know why she wants you to leave.
Yes, but you warned me when I first came here that she was jealous.
It's been very pleasant having you here.
Thank you.
I'm going to miss you. Miss Cummings, could I have your home address?
Of course. Why do you want it?
I hope you won't think me presumptuous, but, well, perhaps we might be able to see each other.
Would that be wise?
No, it wouldn't be wise, but I might as well face it. I couldn't hide it from Laura, and now I can't hide it from myself. I love you, Miss Cummings. That night I heard Spencer's laugh for the first time since the day in the courtroom. I set it down as a figment of my imagination, born out of the feeling of guilt due to my disloyalty to Laura. I put it out of mind. I had other things to think about. The slip of paper with Margaret Cummings' address on it was in my pocket. A dozen times during the week I picked up the telephone to call her, but something held me back. It was fear, I guess. Fear that if I saw her, I would be taking the final irrevocable step. But then, I couldn't stand it any longer without seeing her. I dialed her number.
Hello?
Is that you, Margaret?
Yes, who is this?
This is Richard.
Richard?
Judge Thornton.
Oh, hello! How are you? It's been so long, I thought you'd forgotten me.
There's little chance of that. Could I see you tonight, Margaret?
Why, yes, of course. Come over as soon as you like.
I dressed carefully, examining myself in the mirror. I was a tall man, still on the right side of 50, still trim in figure and distinguished in appearance. When I got to Margaret's apartment, my heart was beating fast, like a boy on a first date. Somehow, I don't know quite how it happened, she was in my arms. I was kissing her.
Oh, Richard.
My darling.
Oh, no, we're being foolish.
Sit down. Darling, here, beside me.
Like this?
That's perfect. Margaret, would you marry me?
Marry? You can't be serious.
I've never been more earnest in my life.
Aren't you forgetting a little detail?
No, I'm not forgetting about Laura. She has a weak heart. She may die, and if she dies...
I wouldn't count on it. Your wife takes very good care of herself. She may even live to be 100.
But if she should die, would you marry me?
I don't know. It's not fair to ask me now. Not while your wife is still alive. Ask me later.
Oh, Richard, did you have a pleasant evening at the club?
I didn't go to the club, Laura.
No?
No, I lied to you. I spent the evening with Margaret Cummings.
Richard!
You're right. I'm in love with her. I never knew what love meant before. I can't live without her.
You're mad! You don't know what you're saying!
I want a divorce, Laura.
Divorce? No!
I want it immediately.
You can't do this to me! Oh! Oh, my heart!
What?
Now you see what you've done?
Laura!
Oh, the shock! My pills, Richard! Give them to me! Hurry, Richard!
I knew she was pretending the heart attack, hoping to play on my sympathy. That was Laura's favorite trick. It always worked before. Not this time. This time I would pretend until I was ready to act. I gave her the pills, watched her take them, and sink back on the pillow.
Oh, thank you, Richard.
Feel better now?
Yes, dear, much better. I don't know what I would have done without you here. I would have died. Oh, Richard, say you didn't mean what you said before. Don't you see I couldn't go on living without you?
You won't have to, Laura.
Then you won't leave me for that girl?
I'll take care of you. Here, let me make you more comfortable. Your pillows need rearranging.
Yes, it does. Richard? What are you doing?
I'm fixing the pillow. Lie still! Stop twisting around! This isn't much different from a heart attack. Laura? She's dead.
Hello?
Dr. Fletcher?
Yes.
This is Judge Thornton. Please come quickly, Doctor. My wife has had a heart attack.
It happened during an argument,
It was nothing important, Doctor. Just a domestic quarrel, and suddenly she had the attack. I gave her the pills, but by that time it was too late.
That's too bad.
If only I'd known her condition had become so dangerous.
Oh, God, nothing to reproach yourself for. These things happen.
Will you take care of the formalities, Doctor?
Oh, yes, of course.
The death certificate.
I'll list the cause as failure of the heart.
There was no need to act the part of the stricken husband after Dr. Fletcher left. I stood, looking down at Laura's body. She was dead, and Dr. Fletcher's certificate would clear me of any suspicion of murder. I was free. Free to marry Margaret! I walked to Margaret's apartment that night. The street was dark, empty. I had the uncomfortable feeling that I was being watched, followed, and then I heard footsteps behind me. I hurried my pace. The man behind me did likewise. Frightened as I was, I decided to stop and confront the follower. He came toward me, his face a figure shadowy in the dark. What do you want? Why are you following me?
You ought to know, Judge Thornton.
Who are you? Come closer so I can... Spencer! John Spencer! It can't be! You're dead!
Dead, am I? Well, you ought to know, Judge.
Now, take it easy, mister. Take it easy. Just tell me what happened.
I was being followed, officer, so I turned around to see who it was.
And did you see who it was?
Yes, and that's why I fainted. The man following me was a dead man.
He was, what's that?
The man following me is dead. I know he's dead, officer.
I oughta run you in. You're crazy.
I had intended to tell Margaret that Laura was dead. I meant to ask her to marry me, but the encounter on the street drove those thoughts out of my mind. Arriving at her apartment, I went directly to the window and looked out. And there, across the street, leaning against the wall, I saw John Spencer!
Richard, I'm insulted.
What?
You didn't kiss me. You haven't even said hello.
Oh, I'm sorry, dear, but that man across the street, he can't be real. And yet, if he isn't...
What man, Richard?
Don't you see him?
No, there's no one across the street.
He was there a moment ago. I turned my head to talk to you, and now he's gone.
Darling, you're trembling. You must be sick.
Don't look at me like that.
Richard, what's the matter?
I guess I am sick. I'd better go have a talk with Dr. Fletcher.
Yes, I remember the Spencer case very well, Judge Thornton. You could have spared Spencer's life, but didn't. And now you imagine that he follows you?
Yes.
But the man is dead.
Then it was his ghost that followed me. His ghost that spoke. His ghost that laughs.
There are no ghosts, Judge Thornton, with one exception. The ghosts we carry about inside us.
What do you mean?
Well, these things you hear and see, these are hallucinations brought on by feelings of guilt. Spencer's been dead for weeks. So the question is, why should you experience guilt feelings at this late date?
I don't know.
Well, psychiatry has an explanation. Quite often in such cases, one refuses to face the guilt object and transfers his guilt feelings to some other person.
What are you driving at?
I'm suggesting that your guilt feelings are not caused by the Spencer incident, and I'm going to ask you a blunt question. Did you murder your wife?
Why, of all the idiotic...
Now, just a moment, Judge. Just a moment. I've been rather uneasy about the circumstances of Mrs. Thornton's death.
But you yourself diagnosed it as a heart attack.
I accepted what you told me that night. A superficial examination of the body did indicate such a conclusion, yes, but your wife's cardiac condition was mild. Now, your guilt feelings lead me to suspect...
This murder talk is ridiculous. Were there signs of struggle? Any marks of violence? Of course not!
Miss Thornton might have been suffocated.
Oh, nonsense!
Perhaps. At any rate, I intend to recommend to the coroner that an autopsy be performed.
An autopsy?
Yes. It would determine whether or not the death was due to suffocation. You should have no objection, if I am mistaken.
You meddling fool!
Judge Thornton, put that paperweight down.
You're so clever.
Stay away from me!
I've gone too far now to stop another murder! I'd lost my head. I should have agreed to the autopsy. That would have given me a day or two of which to plan my escape. But now, as things were, it would only be a matter of hours before Fletcher's body was discovered. My thoughts twisted and turned in panic.
Maybe someday you'll be down here where I am. Won't I be laughing when that happens? Wherever I am, I'll be laughing fit to bust.
I ran like a frightened child. I needed help, and there was no one to turn to. Margaret! She loved me. She'd help me. I went to Margaret and told her what happened.
You killed your wife?
For you! So we could be married!
And then Dr. Fletcher?
I had to kill him, Margaret. He was going to recommend an autopsy.
Why did you come here?
We've got to run away. We still have an hour or two. We can charter a plane to Canada or Mexico.
What makes you think I'd run away with you?
I thought you loved me.
Don't be stupid. I'm going to turn you over to the police.
Margaret, you can't mean that!
Can't I? Just watch me.
Margaret, listen, before you pick up that phone, even if you don't love me, even if you won't go away with me, give me a chance. Have mercy!
You make me laugh. Judge Thornton, who never gave anyone else a break, pleading for mercy. Or turn around and ask the man behind you for mercy.
Behind me?
That's right.
Spencer! John Spencer!
Take another look, Judge.
No, you're not John Spencer. There's a resemblance, but you're not John Spencer.
I'm his brother.
You're the man that was following me.
That's right.
I was tricked, led on by Margaret to kill my wife, forced to betray myself to Dr. Fletcher. But why? Why, Margaret? Why did you do this?
For revenge.
Revenge?
Yes. The first day I came to your house, you thought my face was familiar. Well, now I'll tell you where it was that you first saw me. I was in the courtroom at John Spencer's trial.
Courtroom. Yes, yes.
Yes. Remember how he begged for mercy? How he told you he had a girl, that he was engaged to be married, and you could have given him his life, but you sentenced him to his death?
Were you that girl?
Yes.
Spencer, did he know about this?
Oh, this was his plan. His revenge. Hello? Operator? Give me police headquarters. I want to report a murder. Yes, that's right. A murder. Tell them it's very important to get here as soon as they can.
I'm waiting for the police to come now. For the trial. For the sentence, which I know will be death. As I wait, my thoughts go back to the courtroom.
You won't always be on top. Maybe someday you'll be down here where I am. And when that happens, I'll be laughing.
Thank you to our wonderful performers, their professor, Wolf Sherrill, and to you, our audience, for joining us for the launch of our newest branch of Shhh Productions. We hope you enjoyed the show. Stay tuned for the final part of our triple header, The Voice on the Wire. What would you do if the creepy voice at the other end of the line had a life-threatening warning, and you don't really trust anyone you turn to for help? Listen in starting at 10 o'clock to find out. See you soon. Now, shh. Good evening, and welcome to the first ever college week of Shhh Productions Vintage Radio Hour. Our collaboration, now grown to over 100 fantastic performers and technicians from across the country, Canada, and the UK, revisits the legacy of audio entertainment that harkens back to the golden days of radio to bring you the students of Wolf Sherrill, a founding troupe member and James Madison University associate professor, in a collection of 3 shows filled with suspense, fear, and maybe a little murder. The upcoming show, The Voice on the Wire, originally airing in 1944, features Andy Arias, Ian Zygmunt, Coley Vancora, and Sam Sinnott in a suspenseful tale about a piano, a dog, a bridge, some brandy, and some creepy, creepy phone calls. Come back to see us some other time in our next season and to hear us in A Christmas Carol coming up next week. Now huddle for safety and shh.
You've got to get hold of yourself, Geraldine.
I can't help it, Doctor. You see, it starts every night, about this time.
What starts?
The music. David's last composition. I hear it being played on a piano, and the notes seem to come from the old house, the house where David died in the fire.
Well, perhaps someone is playing that piece on the piano. Someone on the island.
No. There's only one other house out here, and those people are away. And the dog. A dog keeps howling all night long.
What dog?
I don't know. There's no dog on the island, but David and I did have a dog, remember? He stayed with David the night of the fire. He died with him because David was too ill to get out of bed. There it is again.
It's amazing. That's a real dog somewhere on this island.
Oh, do you think so?
Why, of course. Probably some stray got across the bridge or swam over from the shore.
Well, you see, Oh, excuse me, Doctor.
Certainly.
Hello?
Hello, Mrs. Geraldine Reeves.
Yes, speaking. Who is this?
Listen.
Oh, good heavens!
You have 4 hours to live, Mrs. Reeves. 4 hours to live.
What did you say? Hello? Hello?
What's the matter, Geraldine?
The music. The same music. I heard it again.
What?
Over the phone. Someone is playing it on the piano.
It must be some sort of prank.
No. A man spoke to me. He said I have 4 hours to live.
4 hours to... Here, let me have that phone.
No, it's no use. He's rung off.
Well, we might be able to trace the call. Hello? Operator? Operator?
Somebody's trying to kill me.
Hello? Operator? Operator!
What's wrong, Doctor?
I'm afraid the wires have been cut. We better get into my car and drive into town right away.
Yes, it isn't safe for me to stay here another minute.
You understand it? The motor won't turn over. Somebody must have meddled with this car while we were in the house.
Well, try my car, Doctor.
I think perhaps I better. Is it in the garage?
Yes, I left. Oh, great heavens, it's gone! The garage is empty. My car's been stolen.
No, let's not lose our heads, Geraldine.
But...
We're not completely cut off yet. If we can't use a car, we can still walk.
But it's almost a mile to the bridge, and the road is so dark down along the water.
It won't be too dark with a flashlight. We can go down through the woods to the edge of the water and walk along the shore.
Oh, wait a minute.
What's the matter?
I just remembered. David's brother is driving out here tonight.
Harvey?
Yes, and his wife, Laura. They said they'd be here by 8:30, and if we wait for them, they can take us back in their car. What do you think, Doctor?
It's safer than trying to make it alone. If we wait right here, perhaps we can watch the bridge and see them coming. Heaven's sake, Geraldine, what are you staring at?
The bridge, Doctor, the bridge. Look, this ends of it been washed out. Oh, Doctor, this is crazy. Searching for a telephone wire in the back of the house. If we're seen out here, there's no telling what might happen.
Please, Geraldine, we've got to find out where the wire was cut and splice it together again. It's our only chance of reaching the police.
But it's almost 9 o'clock. We've wasted an hour already. If I'm not out of here by 12...
Stop it, Geraldine. Stop it.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. What's that?
Dog again. That confounded dog is tied up around here somewhere.
No, I didn't mean that. I meant the light on the road. There's a strange light on the road.
The headlight of a car. Coming this way.
A car?
Yes. Quick. Behind the house. Stay out of sight. Turning into the driveway.
How could a car have come out onto the island with that bridge out?
Shh. They're getting out.
Oh, why, it's Harvey and Laura.
Oh, good heavens.
Oh, Harvey.
Hello?
Harvey. Oh, Harvey,
Well, for Pete's sake, Jerry, what are you doing? Playing hide and seek with us back there?
Oh, Harvey, I am so glad you've come.
Jerry, what's the matter?
Oh, everything. But first, you've got to tell us how you got here.
Why, we just drove over the bridge and on up the road the way we always do.
But how could you drive over the bridge? It's been washed out.
What?
Well, I saw it with my own eyes. And Dr. Pricing saw it too, didn't you, Doctor?
I certainly did.
Oh, you must be mistaken. We drove over the bridge not more than 2 minutes ago.
Are you sure you haven't been on the island longer than that?
Oh, I'm positive. Why?
Well, some very strange things have been happening here tonight. Geraldine's life was threatened, her car stolen, and mine tampered with.
What?
What are you talking about?
Look, I'll show you. The start of my car won't even turn the motor over. Here. By George! It's working now.
Say, what is this, Jerry? Have you and the doctor been taking a few pills? Or did you drink too much wine at dinner?
Oh, no, everything he said is true. Even the telephone wires have been... I must be going out of my mind. That is my telephone ringing, isn't it?
Yes, of course. Aren't you going to answer it?
I'm almost afraid to. Come with me, Harvey. Will you while I do?
Sure.
Hello?
Hello, Mrs. Reeves?
Yes?
Listen. It's 9 o'clock, Mrs. Reeves. You have 3 hours to live.
Oh, I can't stand this waiting, this endless waiting. Why don't the police come?
Easy now, Jerry. They'll be here. You only phoned them a few minutes ago.
But something can happen before they get here.
I have a gun ready just in case anything should happen. I won't hesitate to use it.
You have a gun, Doctor?
Yes, Geraldine gave it to me before you arrived.
Oh.
What's the matter? You trust me with a gun, don't you?
Why, of course I...
Laura, what is it?
A face at the window! I just saw a face at the window!
Laura, please, you're letting your imagination run away with you.
No, I saw it! Right there! The face of a dead man!
Quick, Harvey, out the back way.
Right.
No, please don't leave us!
We'll be right outside the window.
Jerry, I'm afraid.
Well, there's nothing we can do, Laura. They won't be far away.
But I don't trust Dr. Pricing. You never should have given him that gun.
Why not?
Because I think he's a murderer.
Laura!
Yes! Don't you remember how we acted at the trial when you were accused of starting the fire that killed David?
Oh, but...
He testified against you time and again, subtly, to make them think you did it. Because he started that fire himself.
What on earth are you saying?
I'm telling you the truth. During this trial, he swore that he wasn't on the island the night of the fire. But he was, and I can prove it.
How?
By the cigarette case of his. Here, look at it. You see how it's charred and melted on the side where his initials were? He must have left it in the fire that night, by mistake.
But he couldn't have. The police searched everything the next morning. They would have found it in the ashes.
Not if it wasn't there. He came back for it that same night, as soon as he missed it, and dragged it out of the fire. He knew it would incriminate him if it were found in his possession, so he threw it into the lake as he drove home over the bridge. And that's where we found it, in the water, the last time we were out there.
Oh, Laura, I hope you're wrong.
So do I. But if I'm right, we're all in for
Laura! The lights! Someone's turned off the lights! Laura? Laura, where are you?
Jerry, the door! Coming through the door! It's the face I saw at the...
Laura? Laura! Oh, it was meant to be me, Harvey. Whoever came through that door intended to kill me.
Jerry, please. How is Laura, Doctor?
I'm afraid I can't do anything for her, Harvey. She's passed on.
Oh, Laura, darling.
You better not touch the body, Harvey.
Oh, leave me alone. You've done enough already, Dr. Pricing.
I beg your pardon?
You have a lot of explaining to do when the police arrive, Doctor. I'll tell them how you ran away from me out there before the lights went out, and how you were here in this room when they came back on again.
Oh, Harvey, don't say things you'll regret later on.
Just a moment. Where is the cigarette case Laura had in her hand when the lights went out?
What cigarette case?
You know the one I mean, Dr. Pricing. The gold one that was charred in the fire.
I haven't the faintest idea what you're talking about.
I have. And if you're as innocent as you claim to be, you won't mind being searched.
Not at all. Go right ahead.
I will.
Whom are you calling, Geraldine?
The police. I can't understand why they haven't arrived yet. It's almost 10 o'clock.
Maybe something's happened to them on the way. Maybe their car broke down.
Their car too?
Huh?
Nothing. Only it seems as if your car's the only one that works when you want it to.
Headquarters.
Oh, Sergeant, I can't understand why your men aren't here yet. A murder's been committed.
Do you think you've been calling the police department all this time, Mrs. Reeves?
David's music?
It's 10 o'clock, Mrs. Reeves. You have 2 more hours.
Jerry, are you in your room?
Yes, Harvey. What is it?
This is our chance, Jerry. We've got to run away from Dr. Pricing now, while we're alone.
Yes, of course, Harvey, but how will we go?
In my car, it's just... Wait a minute. Listen.
What is it?
Sounds like footsteps in the living room. Pricing must be in there.
No, I saw him go outside. He said he wanted to see if he could find the dog.
Well, there's someone in there. I'm going to find out who it is.
Be careful, Harvey. He may be standing just outside the door.
Yeah, all right. You stay behind me.
Is anybody there? Is anybody in the living room?
No, there doesn't seem to be.
Don't overlook me, Harvey.
Oh.
Well, Dr. Pricing, you've been standing at this door with your ear at the keyhole.
No, not exactly.
I thought you were supposed to be outside looking for that dog.
I was outside. for a while, but I saw someone moving around in here, so I came back. And when I got here, your wife's body was gone.
What?
What?
Gone? Laura's body gone?
I assume that it's gone. It's not where it was on the floor.
But how could... Look here, Pricing. You were alone in this room.
And so were you. After I left, wasn't he, Geraldine?
Well, yes, now that I think back, he was.
Certainly. And what's more, Geraldine saw me leave the house. When I left, the body was still here. After that, I don't know what happened.
What are you driving at?
Draw your own conclusions. I've drawn mine.
Why, you...
Harvey, stop it! Stop it!
I'm sorry, Jerry. I just...
Oh.
Dog again.
Yeah, I can't understand why you didn't find that dog, Dr. Pricing. He must be right out there where the house used to be.
Well, if you think you can find him, why don't you go and... Good heavens, man!
What?
Look, there's a fire burning out there.
On the grounds of the old house.
Pricing, you started that fire yourself, and you're burning Laura's body in it to cover up your crime.
Harvey, where are you going?
I'm going to the fire, Jerry. I've got to stop it. I've got to...
I'm going to lose my mind if someone doesn't stop these awful things from happening. Won't anybody help us?
Easy, Geraldine. That the man who hopes to kill you is trying to break you down first. It's part of his plan. Look here. Take a sip of this brandy. It'll help you.
All right. Thank you, Doctor.
What's the matter?
Oh, nothing, really. I just don't care for any brandy just now.
What's wrong with it?
Oh, well, I didn't say anything was wrong with it. I just don't.
You fool. Do you think I'm trying to poison you?
I don't know what to think.
Here, give me that brandy. I'll drink it myself. There. Believe me now?
I don't believe anyone.
Listen to me, Geraldine. I'm the best friend you have in the world right now. You've got to understand that. Because there isn't much time. We've got to get away from Harvey while he's still out there.
What do you mean?
Can't you see? He's trying to kill you.
Oh, that's a lie.
It isn't, Geraldine. Harvey's the one that lied to us, he and Laura both. They intended to kill you when the lights went out. But in the darkness, Harvey made a fatal mistake. He thought it was you he was strangling, not Laura.
I won't believe that.
It's the truth. They've never drove across the bridge at 9 o'clock tonight. They've been here on the island all evening.
How do you know?
Because we saw that bridge with our own eyes. And I saw it again just 5 minutes ago. It's still down.
You're lying.
Come out and see it for yourself.
No, you're just trying to get me out of this house.
Stop being such a fool. Here, take this gun. If it'll give you any security, take it. And hold it in my back while we're out there. But for heaven's sake, let's get away from Harvey while there's still a chance.
All right. Give me the gun.
Here.
Now you keep in front of me all the time, and I am warning you. If you make one false move, I'll kill you in cold blood.
You see, Harvey and Laura were lying to us. The bridge is still down.
You're right. They couldn't have come across that bridge.
Of course not. The only trouble is we can't get back over it now either.
We've got to get away, Doctor, now before we're seen.
Well, what about that house at the other end of the island?
The people are away.
But they might have a boat.
Yes, of course, they do have a boat. We can row to the mainland. Come on, quick.
All right.
Oh, I have a feeling we're being followed.
It's your imagination. Hurry, Geraldine, hurry!
Oh, we are being followed, Doctor. Look behind us. There's a man with a dog.
Good heavens. It's just like the dog you owned, the one that died in the fire.
Yes, and the man. It's David.
We've lost them. We lost them in the woods.
We can't be far behind.
It doesn't matter now. The house is just ahead.
But the boat, Doctor, the boat's not at the landing.
It must be.
Well, it isn't. Can't you see it isn't?
Perhaps it's around and back.
No, that side of the house faces the road.
We'll have to break in. Hide here until morning. Our best chance is to be inside where we can protect ourselves. I mean, after all, you still have a gun.
But I hardly know how to use it.
Then give it to me.
No!
You still don't trust me, do you?
I don't know, Doctor, but I'm the one who's being threatened, so I really should have the gun.
Very well. Wait here. I'll break through the window and come around on the inside.
Did you hurt yourself?
No, I'm all right. Just wait there for me and I'll unlock the door.
Oh, hurry, Doctor, please, hurry. They're on our trail again.
Come inside, Geraldine, quickly! Lock the door behind you.
What's wrong, Doctor?
Nothing's wrong. We're in luck. There's a phone here. I mean, if it hasn't been disconnected. Hello? Hello, operator.
This isn't the operator. Tell Mrs. Reeves it's 11 o'clock. She has 1 more hour to live.
Past 11.
I won't leave this house. I'm not going to run away any longer. If they're going to kill me, let them come here and do it. Only for heaven's sake, why don't they do it right away? Why don't they come here and get it over with instead of waiting until 12 o'clock?
Geraldine, please.
Well, I can't stand it any longer. I'd rather die than go through any more of this torture. I just can't.
Sit down for a moment. Relax. And try to ease your mind.
Oh, for... Dr. Tyson, what are you doing?
Playing the piano. Thought it might relax you?
With that melody. You are the one I hear at night playing David's music. Playing it right here in this house.
Yes, Geraldine. I rented this house to protect you from David and the dog.
Well, stop it. Stop playing that piece. Stop it.
You didn't know that David would come back to life. Did you, Geraldine?
Now stay where you are. Stay.
Don't be afraid. I won't harm you. As long as you have that gun. But the gun won't stop David.
David is dead.
Is he? Listen. It's right outside the door. In a moment, he'll be here to take you with him.
No. David? David?
Yes, Geraldine. I've come back to see you, in spite of everything you've done.
Stop!
You killed me, didn't you, darling? You started that fire because you knew I was too much of an invalid to get out of bed.
Stay where you are.
You hated me, Geraldine.
Stop!
No. Your bullets can't harm me now. Nothing you can do can harm me, because I'm dead and you're still alive.
David, forgive me. I didn't know what I was doing that night. Please believe me. I was sorry as soon as I started the fire, but it was too late then. I couldn't put it out. I just couldn't.
How dare you ask for my forgiveness when you're still lying?
But I'm not lying. I'm not. I told you everything.
Why didn't you tell the police?
Because I wanted to live.
You'll confess everything now.
Oh, yes, David. Yes, I will. If you'll only leave me alone, please. Please. It was my cigarette case Laura found in the water. I had thrown it over the bridge that same night after I took it out of the fire.
Well, I guess that's all we need, Harvey. Full confession with 2 witnesses.
Harvey?
Yes, Geraldine. I do look like my brother in this dim light.
Oh.
And the dog Laura's holding outside is the same breed as the one you owned.
Laura, did you say Laura was alive?
Very much so, Geraldine. Wasn't hard for me to pretend being dead, with the doctor keeping you away from my body.
Then you were all in this together. You forced this confession out of me.
Yes, Geraldine. The blank cartridges Dr. Pricing slipped into that gun of yours really turned the trick. Oh, excuse me. Hello? Oh, hello, Inspector. Yes, it's all right now. You can hook up the wires again. She's told us the truth. And you better get to work on that bridge right away. It's still down.
Thank you to our wonderful performers, their professor, Wolf Sherrill, and to you, our audience, for joining us for the launch of our newest branch of Shhh Productions. We hope you enjoyed the James Madison students giving Murder and Mayhem the old college try. Tune in next Thursday to our special holiday project, A Tale of Two Carols, featuring Professor Sherrill as Bob Cratchit in our 8 o'clock production of A Christmas Carol. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have another season of shows coming in February. Until then, be safe and